What's up, you guys? Gold Pony here today in the brand new 2019 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack, courtesy Stettler Dodge Jeep Ram in York, PA. And so you guys have probably seen recently, I recently purchased a 2019 Ford Mustang GT and I've begun modifying it. So if you wanted to see more of that, feel free to subscribe. But now having owned that car, do expect a bunch of comparisons in this review. But as always, you guys, let's start with pricing. And so the way I broke the pricing down for the 2019 Challenger Scat Pack is by transmission. There is a manual transmission. That one is going to start at $38,995. Of course, you have the gas guzzler tax, adds another $1,000. But then you have the automatic transmission. That one is going to start at $40,590. And regardless of that transmission setup that you go with, the power plant on this one is going to be the same. Powering this beast is going to be a 6.4 liter naturally aspirated Hemi V8 engine, putting out 485 horsepower at 6,100 RPM and 475 pound-feet of torque available at 4,100 RPM. Power, of course, is going to be sent to the rear wheels through, like I said, a Tremec 6-speed manual, like that they have the Tremec 6-speed, because the Tremec is actually used on the Shelby GT350 as well. Little fun fact for you there. And the optional transmission, which adds around $1,600, is the Torque Flight 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters. But so then continuing on with the specs, 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 4.3 seconds, which is pretty crazy fast, with a top speed of 176 miles per hour and MPG numbers coming in at 15 in the city, 24 on the highway. But then before we get into any crazy accelerations here, I did want to mention there is a button just in front of the shifter there labeled drive modes. That is going to give you the options between custom, automatic, sport, and track. And what those driving modes are actually going to do is adjust the shift points, the throttle response, the steering sensitivity, and the suspension setup as well. So I did just put it in that sport driving mode. What we are actually going to do now is I'm going to test out the paddle shifters for you guys here. I'm going to put the shifter all the way to the back, to the left. That is going to give me full control here. And let's see how quickly these things react for us here. Definitely very fast reacting paddle shifters. And I feel like I say that every time I review a Challenger. That is one of the things Dodge always gets right. The paddle shifters are insanely fast. Definitely something you need to enjoy if you go with the Challenger Scat Pack. All right, you guys, so now that we've done the paddle shifter test, I think it is time we give this thing a little bit of gas here without the paddle shifters. Let's do a quick little acceleration. See how quickly we can get this new 2019 Challenger Scat Pack here up to speed. This thing's always fun. I don't know why I'm always surprised. This thing is incredibly quick. You do have a little bit of spinning, sending all that power to the rear wheels. But as you guys well know, there are always ways to fix that with wider tires, with stickier tires at that. But dang, even without them, this thing is quite quick. But so that to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And since we're on a back road here, let's say a deer popped out real quick. Braking feels quite nice. And so up front, you will get Brembo 4-piston front calipers. They are going to come standard in black. However, you can get them in red for an additional $495 if you choose to. And then there is a Dynamics package that is optional for additional $2,200. That one is going to give you 6-piston front calipers and new 20 by 9.5 inch wheels with Pirelli tires as well. And then so since I'm carving through these back roads in the park here, when it comes to handling and suspension, the Challenger Scat Pack will come with a 4-wheel independent suspension, a front anti-roll bar, and the ride quality so far has been quite nice. It definitely feels just as good as the Ford Mustang GT. And when it comes to the steering feel, I will also mention it does make a difference depending on which driving mode you put it in. I did just put it in track mode. It is a quite substantially heavier steering feel. It is quite nice, as opposed to the automatic mode that I was just in, at least. But either way, it does have a nice weight to it, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. And when it comes to visibility, Challengers I have never had an issue with when it comes to that, so I can see perfectly fine out the back. And I did want to note one additional thing as well, since I'm driving a Mustang every single day. The hood does feel like it goes on a little bit further than my Mustang. It's not really a good or bad thing, but it is just something I noticed, so I did want to mention that, perhaps because of the Mustang's new redesign on the front end. But I will say I do enjoy seeing those front hood vents that are functional as well on this one. But I seem to be getting ahead of myself here, so enough of the driving dynamics. let's check out the exterior of the new 2019 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack. And so when it comes to the exterior of the 2019 Scat Pack, there are quite a few substantial changes for 2019. So let me first start with the addition of a wide body variant for the Scat Pack. Yes, that is now optional for the 2019 Scat Pack, not the Hellcat, the Scat Pack. And that is going to add roughly 3.5 inches to the total width of this one. So that is pretty cool that that's available. In addition to that package, there is now a new 1320 package available as well. And you guys can tell by the 1320 name, that's the quarter mile. This one is going to add an additional $4,000, but it is going to swap out the Super B logo with an Angry Bee logo to start. Also, it's going to give you an additional drive mode called drag mode as expected. It is also going to add an adaptive damping suspension, trans brake, torque reserve, Nexen P275 40R20 street legal drag radials. And with all this setup, Dodge claims the 0 to 60 time on the 1320 package is going to come right in at around 3.8 seconds on a Scat Pack from the factory. That is pretty sweet. But so I digress. Let's get into the car that we currently have today here. Up front, you will find Challenger and RT badging within that front grille. To the sides, projector beam headlights with the automatic feature will come standard. However, there are HID headlights available. I do happen to have a package that comes with that today. Just below, you will find fog lights that will come standard again. And like I had previously alluded to, functional hood ventilation up top there as well. But making your way to the side, there are body-colored, power-adjustable side mirrors, and by the way, they do come heated as well. Also within that front fender, as always, you will find that Scat Pack logo as expected. Painting towards the back of the Scat Pack there is a bright fuel filler cap as well. And looking down at the wheel setup, the standard setup at least, is going to come with 20 by 9 inch polished aluminum wheels. That is the standard package, and like I said, there are plenty of optional wheel setups, including wider widths available as well. But then make your way to the back, that satin black rear spoiler will come standard. Just below, LED split tail lamps. Gotta love the LEDs back there. And just below it all, dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips, so you guys know what I always have to do next. As always, this is going to be a good one. Here is that exhaust clip. So, but now since we are around back, at first I want to start by mentioning to open that trunk, there is actually a button on the key fob to do so. So if you like, simply press that. But once opened up, cargo capacity is going to come in at 16.2 cubic feet. If that was not enough space for you, those rear seats do fold down. There is a 60-40 split, providing a ton of added space if you needed it there. Make your way up to the rear legroom, and this is one of the pluses of the Challenger Scat Pack, really any Challenger, comparatively speaking to the Camaro and Mustang. Rear legroom is going to come in at 33.1 inches. I think for Camaro it's like 29.9. By Mustang it's like 29 inches. So definitely a plus if you plan on having rear passengers in this one. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there, quite comfortable. And actually the comfort continues. There is a rear center armrest with cup holders and rear ventilation for those rear passengers as well. Do you get that with the Camaro and the Mustang? I know you don't with the Mustang, let me just tell you that. But then make your way to the front seats. They will come power adjustable with power lumbar, and they will come with a cloth finish, standard at least. And I say standard because I do have the leather interior group. That is a $1,700 option today, but that is going to give you the combination of leather and Alcantara on the seats there, and they will come heated and ventilated. That's pretty nice. And that option is also going to give you ambient lighting throughout the car and a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And speaking of, this standard setup will be a manually adjusting tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Either way, it will come leather wrapped. But then when it comes to the startup, let me first start by showing you guys the key here. You do have your Dodge logo on the one side, and when you flip it over, unlock the button to pop the rear trunk, and that little ×2 button, that is going to be your remote start. So you can actually start this one up on super cold days and let the car warm up for you before you actually get inside. So that's pretty convenient. But regardless, all you need to do to start this one is simply put your foot on the brake or the braking clutch, depending on what setup you go with, and press that engine start button just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, tachometer is going to be on your left, speedometer is on your right, and there is a very large digital display front and center which can be controlled by using the steering wheel mounted controls on the left side there. But that is going to give you things like a digital speedometer. You can also check out your tire pressure up there when you need your next oil change. But perhaps the best part is the number 3 option labeled performance, because that is going to give you a 0 to 60 360 times, 0 to 100 timer, quarter mile timer, there's a braking distance timer, G-force statistics, your top speed you have ever gone in the vehicle. That is my favorite part. I wish the Mustang had that. Mustang has everything else but the top speed thing. I think that's pretty darn sweet that Dodge does that. But also up there you can check out your fuel economy, your radio settings, and a couple different other things. But making our way to overall interior quality, at first I want to mention there is a power sunroof available on the Challenger, just like the Camaro, but unlike the Mustang, unfortunately. But power sunroof is going to be available for an additional $1,200. And when you go with that leather interior group, that leather does continue on to the doors and a couple other places inside as well, so that is pretty nice. And I like the small touches like the Challenger insignia just under the passenger side air vent there. But perhaps my favorite part about the interior is, of course, the tech, because this one will come with standard a Uconnect 4C system with an 8.4-inch colored touchscreen display giving you things like Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay also standard. That is awesome. You can also access your drive modes and launch control through that screen as well, as I was previously touching on. Climate control you can adjust up there. There is a factory navigation system available for an additional $795. And when it comes to the sound system, there are 3 different sound systems available. The standard one is going to give you 6 speakers and 276 watts. There is an optional Alpine sound system available for an additional $895. That's the one we have today. That is going to give you 506 watts and 9 speakers. And lastly, the optional Harman Kardon sound system for an additional $1,600. That one is going to give you 18 speakers. But again, we have the Alpine one today. So let's turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. I'm gonna guess my camera was bouncing. The bass is ridiculous on this Alpine sound system. I gotta say, it is definitely more than adequate. I would love to have this sound system in my Mustang. And then last thing I wanted to mention on that Uconnect 4 system is when you do put this one in reverse, there is a reverse camera letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead me into safety. And so to start, there are front, side, and side curtain airbags. In the back, there is latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Also, there is a rear park assist system, so it's kind of gonna beep at you if you get too close to an object there. Technology group is available for an additional $500, and I mentioned that one because that is going to give you automatic high beams and rain sensing windshield wipers, which is going to scare the crap out of you the first time they come on because you won't be expecting it. And the last group I wanted to mention is the driver confidence group for an additional $1,100. That one again we have today, but that is going to give you a blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert, HID headlights, again that's how you get those HIDs you were curious about. Also going to give you the remote start I mentioned, and a universal garage door opener. And so, but anyways, that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe.